Hey there, Star Wars Legion folks. Welcome back to Dice Commando and a Lazy Legion Sunday. So we've had a pretty significant amount of news in the last 2 weeks. I'm not going to cover it all today. We'll break it up. We will talk about Gar Saxon later because he's better than I thought he was originally. But we got new bounty hunter cards. We've been waiting for these a long time to see who was going to go where. The heroes don't get to play them. The good guys don't get to play them. I guess that depends on which side of the fence you are on. But let's check these guys out today. A huge shout out to our channel members for supporting what we do here. If you want to get involved with the channel and the Dice Commando community, please consider joining as a channel member. Remember, these videos are only possible with your support. You can show that support with a like, a subscribe, and by leaving us a comment and sharing your feedback. Community first, and go Commando. Hey folks, welcome back. I hope your week has been well. Lots of stuff happening this week, but yeah, earlier this week we got the new bounty hunter cards out of this, the next upgrade expansion coming. This is pretty exciting stuff, so that's what I wanted to do, was go through them today. We've got some new factions, some new list combinations, and all these guys got an upgrade or two. All right, so first up, you guys know me, right? First up, let's talk Boba. Now, let's start off with the factions. He still only works for Darth Vader, apparently, which is kind of odd. I was kind of hoping the Rebels were gonna be able to use him. Now, obviously, it wouldn't have made thematic sense for him to, you'd have to be like a little boy, right, to work for somebody else. But no, so it makes sense to have him basically only in the Civil War era. But the Rebels won't hire him. But he still has that black dot. And, we don't know what it is yet. But as of right now, he can only work for the Empire. Now, he has, if you go back to his OG card, right, he's come down in points, but he stayed flat in points to where he is now. So he still has Jump 2, he still has Arsenal 2, has Bounty, of course. He has Impervious still, right? Got the Mando thing going on there. He still has Sharpshooter 2, but he picked up Independent Aim 1 or Dodge 1. So this is really, really good for him, right? Because, well, it's good in general, but I don't play a ton of his command cards. The only one that I usually play is his fire one, right? The one with spray. I'll throw it up. His flamethrower. That's generally the only one I play with him. His command cards aren't super great, so a lot of times you're not going to be giving him the order. So I think this is really, really, I think it's great, because I think a lot of times he's going to sit there and he can take a hit, and he doesn't generally always need the aims because he's rolling pretty good dice and he surges pretty well. So I think a lot of times you're going to take the dodge, but it's the situation. It's good to have flexibility, right? Now, the other change that two significant change to his weapons is the 1-2 for his integrated rockets they're integrated rockets now instead of wrist rockets. But they are 3 black instead of the previous 2 black. Keeps impact, but it's now versatile, which means you can shoot in melee, right? If you had to look that up, that's okay, right? It doesn't come up a lot. But yeah, so he can be in melee with his boot spikes, which also got an extra red, which is pretty hot. So he can be engaged in melee, and he can still pop off a shot. He still gets the Arsenal 2, so yes, he can do both. That's pretty cool, right? So Boba's looking pretty good. He also you'll notice he picked up extra slots there, right? Now, whether or not that's going to be all that useful, because you have the independent, right? But it could be, right? So we'll see what the smart kids do with this one. But this one is really cool, right? He keeps the Pierce on the 1-3. So he didn't lose. All he did was gain, right? Did not lose anything. He stayed flat in points. So yeah, we'll see if there means anything on that gray dot, right? But it seems to me that that's probably, I'm thinking it's probably templating, but we will see. I mean, he's got to be able to work for somebody else, right? But we'll see when Dad Bod Boba comes out, what they do with it. All right, so Bossk is next up, another guy who I've really been trying. This is really cool, right? So mainly because the points drop, because I've been trying to get him to work with my Iden list. I was playing Iden Kallus with him for a while. Iden Veers is what I'm on right now, but I've really been trying to get Bossk to work in that slot. Or not in that slot, in that list, right? Trying to get him to work with Iden. Now, it won't work exactly in that list because of the points, right? But so Bossk can also work for the Seppies now, which is pretty cool. So keeps bounty, keeps enrage. He has independent surge 2, which, I mean, I guess helps a little, right? So he already surges to crit, so that's mainly a defensive surge, right, is what that's going to be used for. He does still have regenerate. He gets scale now instead of expert climber, so that's kind of cool. And then the unhindered, right, that was previously there, right? Because I'm showing the old card as well. Basically everything else stays the same, but he loses, right? So he did not get as many bonuses or he did not get as many buffs as Boba did, but he dropped in points, right? So I think that seems okay. So I'm really excited about this guy to see how he can fit into that army. Like I said, I've already been trying to get him to work, and it'll be really cool to see how that turns out. I do think that he's got that Reign 4 with Pierce is pretty good, right? So I think he's going to be able to work in that shooty list and then still be able to provide the support needed if somebody wants to get up close and chop at you, right? So he can lock somebody else down. He seems really, really strong. 105 seems like a very good price point for him. He only has maybe 1, maybe 2 command cards that are worth really using. And you're gonna use it. You're definitely gonna use it once. I mean, right, if you're using it. So, but still, if he's just sitting out there, because a lot of times you won't give him the orders, especially like in my Iden list, for example, right? You want to do things with special forces, and he's not, so you can kind of be over there, being in all independent. So that's kind of cool. Yeah. Now he's still gonna get the independent surge 2 is not gonna save him if they focus fire him down, right? So he's got the regenerate, which is great, but you kind of got to make it to the end of the round in that point. I mean, it's not the end of the round; it's the end of his activation. But you guys get what I'm saying, right? He's got to live, so that'll be a challenge for him. I mean, that's always the thing. Is he's pretty beastly, but if he gets focus fired, he kind of dies pretty easy. So we'll see how that goes. But at 105 points. Not too bad. All right, moving on to Cad Bane. I do have to admit this one hurt me a little because he's now Empire and Separatist, which is pretty cool. But it hurt me in the feels because I was hoping I was going to be able to run him in Gar. Like I'm pretty sure if the Republic had given him credits, I'm pretty sure he would have worked for him, right? So that's kind of a bummer. But maybe they figured that him and Padme on the table together would be really good. I don't know. So jump 1, bounty, danger sense 3. So he picks up an additional 1 there. Now remember, he does have he does have enough to take that, right, and still not lose activation. So that's good, right? So independent dodge 2 dodges, right, which is really great for him. That has always been a problem for him. So he's very good at staying out of the line of fire, but when he gets in the line of fire, it kind of hurts. Right, so he picks up the extra danger sense. He picks up the independent dodge 2, and basically everything else stays. Now his guns are the same. His everything's the same, and his points are flat. So we'll see. Cad Bane still feels pretty. Cad Bane has always felt like somebody who should be pretty good, but he hasn't quite worked. Right, at least I've had a hard time getting him to work. That's why I was kind of hoping maybe he could kind of get like a new light, because he just doesn't quite belong. In most droid armies, he just doesn't quite belong, right? He just doesn't quite fit. So I was kind of hoping that maybe we could try him out with something different. Now, there are certainly lists out there. He actually pairs okay with Maul. I've seen some like okay Maul lists where, right, because you usually infiltrate Maul, you get him up there, and Cad, it kind of gives Cad time to kind of go where he wants. While people are shooting at Maul, he can kind of get in there and pick people off. Steady's really good for him to do the hide and seek thing, but I think I kind of wish he had Gunslinger. I think that would have been kind of cool, but probably would be busted in that. I mean, he wouldn't have Steady and Gunslinger probably, right? Maybe that would be the trade, but either way, we will see how it goes. This is super exciting stuff. I'm really excited to see the guys on the table. So let me know, what do you guys think? Who's of the 3 who got the best buff, right? I think if you look at it mathematically, let's go ahead and go back to Boba. I think Boba probably got the best buffs, but he had already been kind of hard to use from a point standpoint. So, and he didn't change factions, right? So you don't have any other flexibility there. So while he got the best buffs, unquestionably the best buffs, the fact that he didn't get the points reduction is arguably like I think Bossk might have been the winner out of this. I don't know how, and I think he kind of has the same Cad Bane problem I was speaking to earlier in terms of like I'm not sure how he fits into where people currently like to run their droid armies, right? So maybe you have to do like a Dooku list or something with him where it's like, I don't know. I don't know. I honestly don't know, but because right now so many of the droid lists are really, really good with, right? You kind of have the tank versions or you have the spider droids and then you have a butt ton of droids to back it up because that's what they do. Maybe something with him, and because he's got the range, maybe something with him, and then a bunch of B2s, which I still think are pretty good, but they just don't fit out well into the current play. So maybe there's something there with him, but I do think that right now he probably ends up finding homes just within that Empire army. And then Cad Bane, man, I really wish he'd been a Gar, but I don't know that Cad. I mean, independent dodge too will help this SOB stay alive. That is true. So, because he still surges everywhere. Yeah, I do think Bossk probably was the winner. I think anyway. So we'll see how Cad fits in, but coming in at 105 points, that helps too, right? So yeah, probably. I don't know. That's a tough one. Let me know what you guys think. Who won? Who got the best bonuses or subtractions? I guess in this case. The subtractions are big. So anyway, that'll do it today. Just sitting and rambling, but I'm super excited about these guys. Yeah, so I will be back next week with the Gar Saxon talk. That's pretty exciting. We'll see how he fits in with the cool Mandos that we saw a couple weeks ago. So anyway, folks, thanks for tuning in. Hope you had a great week. Hope you have a great week. If nothing else, go Commando. Thank you.